name's Marcus. Today I'm here to talk to you about educational debt. Now, we're all in a CUNY school with a relatively low tuition, and most of us are students. But even if we don't have that much in the way of tuition, or this is the end, we don't plan on going to school further, educational debt is something that's really important to us as a whole, to us as a community. Right now, as of the end of 2012, educational debt reached $944 billion. And from 2004 to 2012, educational debt delinquency has risen 7%, from 10% to 17%. So it's obvious that it's an important issue. Before I start talking about students and educational debt, what I wanted to mention was business owners. Business owners make certain considerations before they establish a business. They want to consider what they want to do, of course, it's important. What is it that I want to do? But some of the considerations they make include how much money are they going to make? How much is it going to cost them to make that money? One of the things I wanted to tell you in informing you about educational debt is that should be a primary consideration when choosing educational institutions, degrees you want to take, and ultimately what profession you want to have. Considerations for education versus cost. The educational institution, the brand, is all very important. That all adds to that figure. Some of the top universities in the country, for instance, Cornell in upstate New York, can charge upwards of $55,000 for tuition. $55,000. That adds to that $944 billion figure. What you're getting and what you pay for, those are two very different things. Based on what the economy will allow, that educational debt, that expense that you incur, may not necessarily yield what you might have expected it to. Now, that's not to sweep aside the folks that are philanthropists or just generally interested in whatever topic it is they're studying. That's a different consideration. But for most of us, we want to be educated, but we also want to be in a field where we can support ourselves and be prosperous and successful. Let's talk about going bankrupt. According to those figures, 7% a year, 7% from 2004, to 2012, and if you project those figures out for another 10, 15, 20 years, you're talking about a lot of people that are not going to make ends meet, and they're going to have degrees. They're going to be educated folks. So it's just considering the economy, considering this educational debt as a big, high priority. That's really the utmost importance. Just like the business owner, it goes back to what your priority is. Not only what you want to sell and how you want to sell it, but how much you're going to make and how much is it going to cost you to complete that goal. Once you complete your degree, you'll have your job and you'll have this debt, but it's almost like a mortgage without the house. And ultimately, most people are going to take on a mortgage. So that figure alone, the mortgage figure, if you were to buy a house within 10 years of completing school, the difference between your educational debt and your mortgage is double the New York fiscal budget. The New York fiscal budget is now $97 billion. So that's just some astounding figure. I know the numbers seem insane, but these are real numbers. Right now, as we speak, all of us are business owners, and our business right now is becoming educated, so we can enter the workforce and be prosperous. The last thing I wanted to leave you with is all this doom and gloom in terms of educational debt. I don't want to fail to talk about institutions like Baruch or CUNY, educational institutions that can afford you a quality degree at a reasonable cost. And thank you.